Hi, I'm Lee from Ignite Your Being, and today I'm going to guide you through a slow but fairly strong flow. It's going to be quite low to the ground, so we're not going to do many standing poses. You shouldn't need any equipment, but you might want a couple of bricks if you've got tight hips to be able to put your hands down towards the floor, or you could use a couple of books as substitutes. So I'm going to invite you to start in a child's pose. So if you're able to, bringing the big toes towards one another, your knees apart. We're trying to just reach our arms forward, sink our bellies. The aim is to keep our bum close towards our heels, but if that's not possible and your bum lifts, that's absolutely fine. Take your hands wide enough to give your shoulders some space, and maybe see if you can rest your head to the floor. If it doesn't rest towards the floor, you might want to stack your hands or stack your fists to be able to rest your head. And just let's take a few moments to bring ourselves into presence. So bringing your awareness towards your body, just allowing your body to release and relax into the pose, being aware of the tightness that you can feel in your body. And just be aware of your breath, just smoothly flowing in and out. And maybe you can be aware of the back of your lungs in this pose. So as you take a nice full inhale, can you feel that expansion in the back of your body? And as you take that steady exhale, can you feel that gentle release, maybe even slight contraction in the back of your body? Let's take 2 more full breaths here. Inhaling, expanding. Exhaling, releasing and softening a little more into your pose. 1 more deep inhale. And exhaling, release. Now we're going to stay in that child's pose, but I'd like you to take your right hand on top of your left hand. Reach the fingers past, and you might create like a little cradle with your arms to rest your head in. Try not to strain your neck, we're just reaching that right hand as far as we can past our left. And just feeling into that subtle stretch that you may be feeling now in the right side of your body. If you're able to pin your right buttock towards your right heel, then keep that pinned as you reach into your right fingertips. Just pausing, breathing steadily, trying to ease into the pose. And then releasing your right hand over toward the right side of your mat, placing the left hand upon it. Pin your buttock back, reach your left fingers past your right fingers. Maybe you create this little nest for your head to settle into. And just again, breathe, pause, relax into that stretch that hopefully you're feeling down the left side of your body. And then releasing your hands, just start to walk your hands a little closer towards your body, sitting up more. Placing your left hand central, take your right hand towards your head. We're taking a twist to the right, and as we turn the chest to the right, lifting the right elbow, see if you can push the ground away to find a little more rotation. So just working into the depth of that rotation that you can find. When you can't twist any further, maybe you can raise the right hand up towards the ceiling. And you're reaching into your fingers, you're pushing the ground away. And if you get any nipping in your shoulder, maybe just bring the hand back towards your head. And then let's release that arm down. Right arm goes central, left hand comes toward the head. Push the ground, find that rotation through your chest. And we're just working into that for a few moments. So just pushing, turning, and lifting that elbow as high as you can. And then see, how does it feel to stretch that hand up toward the ceiling? Do you get any pinching? Does it feel okay? Could you push the ground away, find a little bit more rotation? And then releasing that hand back down. And then just placing both forearms on the floor, we're going to scoop ourselves into a cow pose. So we just move our weight forward, we transfer the weight onto our hands, and we arch through our spine into our cow pose. And then we're going to round through our spine and push our bum back via a cat pose. So if you can, you're going to inhale, scoop yourself forward, pause the movement, pause your breath, and then exhale and round yourself back into your child's pose. Let's go a couple more. Inhaling forward, pausing, exhaling into our cat as we push ourselves back. Final inhale forward, final exhale, rolling back. And then just coming into an all-four position, spreading your fingers, pressing down through the palms of the hands, feeling that contact under each finger. And circling your shoulders in a clockwise direction, just around your wrists. And if you're tight in your wrists, those circles might be quite small. If you've got a bit more movement, you might be able to make those circles a little bit bigger, so you lean a bit more into it. And then just changing the direction of your circles. And coming back towards your neutral position. So then we're going to do a segmental cat-cow. So this is really good at finding articulation through your spine. So rounding yourself up into your cat, thinking about moving from your tailbone. You'll start to tilt your tailbone up, so your pelvis starts to drop forward. And just feel your belly start to drop, you arching through your lower back. Then you're arching through your mid-back. Then your upper back. And then finally your shoulders roll back and down and your head starts to lift and you're in your cow pose. Then in this arch position, we take the awareness back towards our tailbone and we just start to tuck that tailbone under. So our lower back starts to move, then our mid back as we draw our belly in, then more our upper back as we draw the ribs in, our shoulder blades spread as we draw our chest in, and then our head tucks and we end up in our final rounded cat. So once again, awareness to tailbone. Try and find that nice, smooth, wave-like action from your tailbone, slowly, slowly, all the way up through your spine. Finally, head lifts, shoulders look back and down the body. And then again, that wave-like action from tailbone, and just start to slowly round and roll from the base of our spines all the way up. Let's just try one more. So as smoothly as you can, just trying to move from that tailbone, that little ripple, all the way up. Finally the head lifts, final tuck as you roll back into your cat. And then coming back to a neutral spine, all I'd like you to do is lift your shoulders up towards your ears, so elevating your shoulders and then drawing them away, depressing your shoulders. So up and down. Spine stays neutral, we just lift the shoulders up, we draw them down. So the other motion is a retract, protract. So from a neutral spine, we're going to drop our chest down as we squeeze our shoulder blades together, and then we spread our shoulder blades as our chest starts to lift away from the ground. Now it's not a cat-cow position. We're trying to keep nice and stable in our lower body and just isolating our shoulder blades. So it can be a bit tricky at first. So just shoulder blades squeeze, shoulder blades spread, or chest lowers, chest lifts. And just trying to be mindful of where you're moving. Is it just your shoulder blades? Then we're going to try and put those four movements together. So what it would look like from neutral. We squeeze our shoulder blades together, we retract. Keep retracting as you lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Then we protract, we push away from the ground, and then we depress and bring our shoulders down. So chest lowers, shoulders lift, chest lifts, shoulders lower. So retract, elevate, protract, depress. Try one more, that little square that we're making. And it should feel quite strong in your shoulder blades. Next, I'd like you to bring your knees together, round up like a cat, draw your right knee toward your nose, so that right thigh towards your chest. And then pop that leg down, relax for a second, round up like a cat, left thigh towards belly, push the ground away, squeeze that leg in. We'll come back toward the right side, so we're going to round up like a cat, thigh towards the chest, and then just kick that foot forward, so it ends up underneath your knee. Sweep your arms up into a big stretch, maybe lean back slightly, stretch into your fingertips, and just step your right foot a little bit further forward, so that then when you circle your arms down, you let your body rest down, hopefully your hands can find the ground. So as in this lower lunge position, we're just trying to stretch out that left hip flexor, so maybe squeeze your bum, push that hip down toward the floor, and then we're going to walk the hands back, straighten the right leg-ish, let the body bow over, feeling into a hamstring stretch on the right. So we're going to go between these two. So let that left hip come forward, squeeze and push forward.
And then straighten your right leg as much as you feel you can and let your body come over. Let's go one more. So forward, feel the hip flexor, back, feel the hamstring. And then just come back, placing the foot on the floor. Swing this leg out behind you. So we come up into kind of like a kneeling warrior. So we've got our 90-degree angle. We're going to take our arms out to the side, stretch into the fingers. We're going to reverse this. So this hand can slide down the leg, the right arm can come up. We can take that little bend. You might even be able to reach the floor, make it a little deeper. And then you're going to come back through the center point. Either this forearm to the leg, lean into it and arm overhead, or this hand might come to the ground in this side angle bend. Let's go one more. So lift yourself up by the center point. Hand comes down the leg or comes to the floor. And then lifting yourself up, finding your side angle, whichever variation works better for you. Then as you come up this time, let's just straighten this leg out. And then left hand finds the floor. We're in this side plank type position. So bring the arm over by your ear and just feel that you can push this right side of your body up towards the ceiling, getting a really good stretch through the body. And then bring yourself back up through that center point. Right hand slides down, right leg, left arm takes a stretch up towards the ceiling. So you can't bend as deeply on this side because of our hip. Let's windmill back down, taking the right arm over. Banana shape through that right side of the body to get that good side stretch. Bringing yourself back up. Hand down the leg. Take that little stretch. Then we're going to windmill back down once more. This time, see if you can lift your right leg off. And using this glute muscle, lifting that leg nice and high. A little bit like a kneeling half moon. You can stay here, or you could reach for your ankle, push that hip forward, squeezing your glute to push that hip, kick the foot into the hand so it rolls your right shoulder back and you're opening up through your body. Take a couple of breaths. And then carefully release back toward your half moon and then bringing yourself back up towards that center point. Now we're going to actively fold forward. So when we do this, try and keep length in your spine. Stretch the arms behind. As you let the hips move back, reach your chest forward or reach your forehead forward. Folding down to wherever you feel you can without resting, and then drive yourself back up towards the start position. Let's go 2 more times. We're going to fold down, we're hinging, we're stretching and reaching, and then we're going to bring ourselves back up. One more time, actively down. Fold into your deepest. Keep that length through your spine, reaching into your hands, pushing yourself back up. Well done. Bring the hands down this time, and I'd like you to thread your right arm underneath your left, but we're not going to touch the ground. We're going to actively reach. So your left elbow can bend, but try and keep your right arm off the ground. As you reach into your right fingers, push through your right foot so you feel your inner thigh. Now release and bring this right hand to your head, turn the chest to the right, lift the right elbow, find that rotation. We're going again, so releasing down, right hand stretching, reaching as far as you can so it's active, feel your right inner thigh, and again, hand to head, take that twist. This time as you take your arm underneath, allow yourself to bow down. Your head may reach the floor, your right arm is pressing into the ground, and you may want to take your left hand up toward the ceiling for a twist. See how that feels in your body. If it feels too strong, take the left hand down. And then everyone bring left hand down, start to push yourself up, right hand to head, find that twist. This time maybe take the right hand up. Push the ground away, reach up into those fingers, really get that nice open stretch sensation through your body. Now take that hand down, lift yourself back up. Bring this right leg back into your warrior type position. We're going to kick the foot behind us, come back down into a forward position. So right knee over right heel. Left hand stays on the ground, right hand is going up towards the ceiling for a twist. Now we're going to push ourselves away from the floor and try and bring ourselves up into this lifted kneeling position, twisting at the same time. So we're reaching into all 10 fingers. And then we're going to windmill our left hand down to the ground, our right hand goes back up. As an add-on, when you lift yourself up this time, you can either stay here or you can squeeze your left glute, push your left hip forward, lean back and try and take your right hand to your heel as your left hand reaches to the ceiling. So we windmill ourselves down, and our choice when we lift up is to come just to the twist or to squeeze the left glute, push the left hip forward, reach for the heel, come into the twist. Windmill yourself back down, untuck your back toes, walk your hands back and come to sit on your heel and draw this right leg in and give your knee a little hug. Hold on with the left, take the right hand behind you, take a twist. Sit up tall, roll the right shoulder back so you can open up through your chest. And then as you release to the front, sweep your arms up, come onto both shins, hold onto the elbows, be tall, take a side bend to the right, have a little squeeze of your bum to keep you stable. Lift yourself back up. Let's go to the left. Lift yourself up. This time you're going to sit left bum to left heel, unhook the right foot. Hold on with the right hand, left hand behind, sit up, take that rotation. So we're rolling the shoulder back, opening up through the body. And then as you release, stretch your left leg out front, walk the hands forward, come back into that low lunge position. So then we repeat on the left. So just push yourself up, flick the back foot out, bring yourself into your kneeling warrior. So we're reaching into the hands, we're opening up at the hip. Let's reverse. The right hand slides down the right leg, the left arm goes up. Your right hand might come toward the floor. And then we bring ourselves up into our side angle. So left elbow to left knee, right arm over by our ear. Maybe that left hand slides down toward the floor. Push yourself out of the pose. Let's windmill the right hand down toward the floor. Find that reverse. Windmill back into your variation of your side angle position. As you push yourself back up, straighten out your left leg this time, and then bring the right hand down into that side plank variation, bringing that left arm over by your ear as you push the left side of your body up toward the ceiling. Come through the center point, left hand down, left leg, right arm up by your ear. Take that little side bend, or at least side reach. Windmill the right hand back down, left arm goes over. Push the left side of the body up toward the ceiling. And then windmill, final time, left arm down the leg, right arm up by the ear. Now windmill the right hand back down, but this time see if you can lift the left leg up. Use that glute muscle into that kneeling half moon. You may want to stay here or take hold of the ankle, kick the foot into the hand, roll the left shoulder back, open yourself up. Pause for a couple of breaths. As you release, just carefully let go, stretch that leg out into your half moon, and then take that foot down toward the floor, come back up into that lifted position. So we're going to actively fold forward, reach your hands out behind you, hinge at your hip, send your chest forward, your forehead down toward the floor without touching, hover, and then drive yourself back up toward the start position. Be tall through your spine. As you hinge, keep that length in your spine. Hips go back, head bows forward, and drive yourself back up. One more time, taking it down, go for length. Pause and then drive yourself up. And then bringing the hands down toward the floor. Taking the left arm actively under the right. We're bowing down toward the floor, but we're not resting. We're reaching, pressing through that left foot so you feel your inner thigh. Bring the left hand toward the head. Turn the chest to the left. Lift that elbow. Open yourself up. Actively taking that left arm beneath. Reaching, bowing but not touching. Stretch into the fingers. Push with the left foot. And again, left hand to head. Open, twist. This time, taking that left arm underneath, this time relaxing down. Maybe the maybe the head reaches the floor. Push down through the left arm. You may take your right arm up toward the ceiling for a twist. See how that feels. If it doesn't feel good, take the hand down. Everyone release the right hand down. Start to lift up. Left hand to head, take that twist, and this time maybe extend the left hand up toward the ceiling. Push the ground away, find that openness, that twist through your body. Bring the hand down. Lift yourself up. Let's rebend to a kneeling warrior. Kick the back foot so we're aligned back to the top edge of our mat. Bring yourself down, keeping the right hand on the floor. Take the left hand up toward the ceiling for a kneeling twist. Just in your position if needed. Now we're going to windmill up. So as you bring yourself up, we stay with the legs as they are. The twist is now turning toward the left as you reach into all 10 fingers. Windmilling the hand back down. Your add-on choice. As you come up, we stay here, or we squeeze the right glute, push the right hip forward, lean back, reach for the foot, take the top arm up. Windmill back down. And your final one, choose the lifted twist or that reach back, making it a little more active. Windmill yourself back down toward the floor. Unhook your back toes. Start to walk back, sit down onto that heel, bend your left leg. Hold on with the right hand, take the left hand behind, taking that twist. So you can squeeze into your leg, you can rotate, take that left shoulder back, open up. And then as we release, take the arms up, high kneel position, hold the elbows, lift up tall through the spine. Let's bend over to the left. Bring yourself back to center, have a slight squeeze through your glutes as you bend right to keep you stable. And then as we come up, this time bending at the right knee, sitting left, bum to left heel. Hold on with the left hand, take the twist now to the right. So we're rolling that right shoulder back. We're gently pulling onto our leg to find that rotation. And then as you release, stretch your right leg out. Start to walk your hands forward, back towards your lunge position. And then just come onto all fours and then just cross the ankles. Sit yourself back into an easy leg position. I'm just going to change direction so you can see a little bit easier. So from your cross-legged, I would have the right leg in front, so the left leg comes in first, the right leg second. We're going to actively use our hip flexor muscles and the muscles around our hips. So if you can do this without the hands on the floor, go for it. If you need a little bit of support initially, put the hands on the ground. So the idea is, we lean slightly to the left, we actively lift this right leg up. We internally rotate, so the knee is coming back in line with the hip and the foot is in line with the knee, and we're trying to lift it as high as possible. And then we pop it onto the floor, and then we actively lift it up and we bring it back. So you're likely to feel these muscles working quite strongly. I'm going to try 2 more. So we lean, we take that leg back, we lift it as high as possible, pop it down, lift it again, bring it back. One more time, take it back, take it as high as you can, particularly that foot as high as possible, pop it down, lift it up, bring it back. Now just sit into a butterfly pose or a diamond type position. And again, we're trying not to use our hands if possible. So you can just hold your hands, you can put your hands in prayer, hands across your chest. We're going to actively lift this right leg up, stretch it out to the side, and then pop it on the ground. Then left leg lifts, actively out to the side, drop it down. So you should feel these muscles. Then right leg comes in, we hold it, we pop it down, left leg comes in, we hold it, pop it down. We go 2 more times. The longer you hold it out there, the more challenging it's going to be. Likewise on the other side. When you bring it in, the longer you hold it, the more challenging it will be. So you just do what feels right for your body. 1 more time, right leg out, left leg out, right leg in, left leg in, and this time just come into that cross leg position, so the left leg is now on the outside. So we can tip to the right, lift the left leg, internally rotate, Lift the knee and the foot as high as we can, pop it on the ground, lift it up, bring it back. So as we take it behind, often the foot wants to drop, so try and lift the foot up as high as possible, resting it down, re-lift, bring it back. One more time, taking it behind, lifting as high as you can, popping it down, lifting it as high as you can, bringing it back. We're going to do the same, legs out, just go leading with the left leg first. So you're going to take the left leg out, hold it, drop it down. Right leg out, hold it, drop it down. Left leg in, right leg in. Left leg out, maybe challenge for a little bit longer. Right leg, maybe challenge. Left leg in, right leg in. One more time. Left out, right out. Left in, right in. Well done. Now I'd like you to bring the right leg into your half butterfly and the left leg straight. I'm just going to turn myself around. Sitting up nice and tall, take the right hand behind, the left hand to the bent leg, and open up into a bit of a twist. You're rolling your right shoulder back, you're rotating your body. So your body is looking towards your right leg, so it's a side, we're moving into that side position. So, see if you can put the right hand onto the floor, push into the right shin, lift your hips, take your left arm over, so a little bit like a supported side plank. Then we're going to drop our bums down. We're still in that side on position. Reach the left hand toward the left foot. Bring your right arm over by your ear. So we're taking a side bend. We're not trying to turn our chest down, keeping our chest to the right. We're going into that side bend. We're going to repeat this. So windmilling that right hand down, lifting your bum, pushing through your shin. Try squeezing your glutes and pushing your hips up. Finding that reach through your left hand. Drop the bum, reach left hand to left foot, right arm over into your side bend. Just breathe and ease into it. One final one. So windmilling up, taking it down, reaching that foot, reaching towards that foot as you take that right arm over. And just see, can you soften into that side bend a little? Try not to push, force too much. And then bringing yourself up. Now I'd just like you to shuffle this right leg. So the right knee is over to the right side of your mat, the right foot is over to the left side of your mat. Swing your left leg behind, so we're coming towards the pigeon pose. So just adjusting yourself, depending on your hips. If you've got tight hips, your foot is going to be nearer to your left hip. If you've got more flexible hips, your foot is going to be higher up your mat, yeah? So it'll be a little bit higher up. But whichever position you're in, I want you to try and feel that your hips are level. So just have a little wiggle around in the pose. You might even want to creep your back foot back a little bit to try and get that left hip a little closer to the ground. But we certainly don't want to be tipping over to our right buttock. Just have a little go at having a wiggle, maybe having a little stretch over to the right. So you're stretching your left arm diagonally, stretching your right arm diagonally. And then coming back to that neutral position. So we've got a lot of pressure through our right shin and we're trying to be level at our hips. In order to lift the hands off the ground, we've got to be actively pushing through that right shin. You might be able to reach back into your arms and open it through your chest. And then hands to the floor. Maybe you want to go into a relaxed pigeon where your arms start to stretch forward or your forearms come to the floor. Maybe your head starts to come down toward the ground. And just being mindful of your knee. So we're after a stretch around our right hip, maybe our glute, maybe even into our thigh a little bit. But if you're getting pain in your knee, then just ease yourself out, give yourself a little bit more support. Just pause in just for another 1 or 2 breaths. And if you've got your arms out, just start to walk your hands in. This time I want you to roll onto your right buttock. And once you've rolled to your right buttock, swing your left foot forward and hook it over that knee. Holding onto the lifted knee with your right hand, left hand goes behind to take a twist. So you're rolling that left shoulder back, squeeze that leg in towards your body to find a deeper twist. From this position, turning centered, I want you to rock your hands down onto the ground. We're going to tuck our right toes under and stretch our left leg up
into a down dog position. You might just have to wiggle your right foot back to give you a bit more space. Then thread this left leg underneath your right. Step onto the outside edge of your foot, and maybe you take your right arm up for a bit of a fallen triangle. And then just start to pivot on your back heel so you can lower your bum down toward the ground. Take your legs out wide. Have a little ease into that stretch for a moment. Just upright, but just opening up through your hips. And then we'll repeat on the other side. So your right leg stays straight. Your left leg comes into your half butterfly. Left hand behind, right hand to knee. Lift up tall, take that twist. And as you're rotating, your belly and your chest are starting to turn to the left. Left hand goes down, left shin or outer shin presses, lifting your hips, taking yourself into that supported side plank type position. Let your bum drop, reach your right hand towards your right foot. Remember, it's a side bend and that left arm is coming over. Windmill back into that lifted side plank position. Drop the bum, reach for the foot, side bend. Windmill back, one more time. As you lift up, use a bit of glute strength to push your hips away, open yourself up. Drop yourself down. Reach the hand toward the foot, relax into the pose. As the left arm goes over, can you just let yourself breathe and sink into that side bend? And then bring yourself back out. So a little bit of a shuffle to shuffle this left leg. So the left knee is to the side, left side. The left foot is to the right side. Flip yourself over into your pigeon type position. And you make your adjustment. So if you're a bit more flexible, this foot will be higher up the mat. You might want to tuck your back toes, wiggle that leg back, that foot back, so your right hip gets a little closer to the floor. Take a little stretch diagonally with your right hand. Take a little stretch diagonally with your left hand. Trying to get a little lower into that pose. And then as you bring your hands back to make it active, press down through your left shin, keep your hips nice and level. See if you can take your arms off the floor. So you're using a bit of strength in your muscles. And then hands come down. Some of you may need to stay here. You might want to start walking your arms out. Some might be able to stretch out fully, bring your forehead to the floor. Some might want the forearms on the floor. Some might want to be a little higher. Be mindful of what you're feeling, particularly in your knee. We don't want any pain in the knee. Stay for another couple of breaths, soften into it. And then walk your hands in, if they're not already. Let yourself roll onto your left buttock. Sweep this right leg forward and hook the foot over the knee. Hold on with the left hand, right hand behind. Take that rotation. And as you draw that leg in, just see if you can find a little more depth to your twist. And then as you release to the front, we're going to find that little rock. So we're going to rock ourselves onto all fours. And then we're going to tuck the left toes under, sweep that right leg up towards the ceiling into our one-legged dog. You might have to just wiggle and adjust your base foot. Then this right leg is going to thread underneath, come onto the outside edge of your foot. And as you drop your hip a little, maybe take that right arm up into your fallen triangle. Pivot on your back heel, allow yourself to come down towards the floor. Take those legs out wide, feel into your hips. If your legs will let you, maybe you find a little bit of a forward fold. So some of you might want to fold. Some of you might want to stay upright. Some of you might want to just sit and have a little wiggle. So a lot of this is about finding that anterior tilt in our pelvis. Take a couple of breaths in whatever position you've chosen. And then just start to walk your hands back, bring your legs back. We're going to come into an all four position. So just flipping yourself onto all fours. So let's just take some stretches and movement in our wrists, because we're going to do a little bit of weight bearing. So we've already done our little circle. So this time, just gripping with your fingers, I'd like you to lean forward, just to load those wrists. Gripping with those fingers and also feeling that push through your shoulders.
And then see how it feels for your wrist to turn your hands out to a 3 and 9 position. Have a little rock from side to side. These can be as big or as small rocks as you feel you can do. And then see, could you turn your fingers to point back towards your knees? And some of you, this may not happen. They might have to stay at that 9 and 3. They might go somewhere in between. Some of you might be able to have your fingers facing your knees and have a little rock back. Top tip, knees closer. It's going to be easier. Knees further apart, going to be a little bit harder. Then just try flipping your right hand, so the back of the hand goes to the floor, the fingers point back. If you can load your wrist, you press down, you straighten your arm. If not, you just ease off into whatever position you can. Flip the right hand back, flip the left hand over. So back of the hand, you might straighten your arm, you might gently press down. Be mindful of what your wrist is telling you. And then flipping those hands back to a more normal position. And to create a little bit of strength through your forearms, try and keep your shoulders above your wrists. Your aim is to keep all 4 fingers down, lift the heel of the hand and the thumbs are likely to lift. So you're just loading through those fingers and through those forearms. And then you're just going to drop those heels down. So little palm push-ups. We lift up and down, up and down. The more weight you've got over, the harder it's going to be. So if it's difficult for you to lift up, lean back slightly so there's less weight through those fingers. If it's a little easier for you, then you put more weight forward. Just a couple more if you can. And then we're going to come up into our down dog. So feeling that pressure through your hands, lifting off your knees. Taking your tailbone high, so when we're in our down dog, we're always looking for an anterior tilted pelvis, so like a cow, rather than a tucked cat. So think about lengthening through your spine, lifting your tailbone, chest moving towards your thighs. If you've got tight hamstrings, I would stay with a little bend in your knees. If you know you can straighten your legs and still keep that tilt in your pelvis, then go for it. And then just bringing yourself down into a child's pose position, knees wide, bum back towards your heels. Just take a little stretch out through your body for a moment. And then we'll come back onto all fours, exploring a plank. So from this position, shoulder blades are protracted so they're spread, they're not collapsing. You're sending one foot back, tucking the tailbone under. Then all that needs to happen is you send the other leg back, you're in your plank position. From your plank position, try just bending your knees and going into a crouched child's pose. So we crouch into our child's pose, we hover our knees, we go back towards our plank. We crouch as low as you feel you can, go back towards your plank. One more if possible. Crouch, push, back towards your plank. Now bring yourself up into your down dog again. And we're going to do some little down dog to plank waves. So like you did with your segmental cat before, tuck your tailbone under, start to roll through your spine, all the way forward into a rounded plank. Then bend your knees, lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling and push yourself back via that little crouched child's pose into your down dog. So the tailbone tucks, we round and roll it forward. We bend our knees, go towards a little crouched child's pose, lift our tailbone into our down dog. Let's go one more roll forward. Crouch, push back into your down dog. And this time, joining your feet together in your down dog, raising your right leg up high toward the ceiling, get a nice stretch out. Then we're going to round through our spines, bring our right thigh towards our belly and chest. Roll up and round forward into that plank type position, squeezing that thigh as tightly to your chest as you can. Stretching it out, reaching it away. One more time. Bend, thigh to belly, rolling it forward, come to your plank type position, and then kick your right foot forward. So we end up in a lunge. Have a moment to just find a little wiggle. Ease out into your pose for a second. And then, keeping your left hand on the floor, take your right hand up towards the ceiling, floating twist. So we're opening ourselves up, we're pressing away into our back heel. From here, pivot onto the outer edge of your back foot. Drop your hip, reach the hand towards your foot as that hip drops. Then, we're going to bring this hand to the floor, we're going to pivot and bring ourselves into Skandasana or a Cossack squat. Then we go back to that twist, we drop the hip, we reach back. We repeat towards our Skandasana. One more time, open it into that like little horizon lunge, bringing it back into your Skandasana. Then come back into that lunge position. Reach your hands forward. I'm just going to backtrack a little bit because I'm going to hit my plant. Reach the hands forward, bring that back leg off the ground. So you're in a warrior type position, but you've got the hands on the floor for support. Then back, the lifted leg, the knee is going to try and tap the back of the right leg. So you're going to squat down, knee hits somewhere on that right leg, you stretch it back into your warrior. So the lower you can go, the harder it's going to be. So your knee might touch your ankle, you take it back up. Or your knee just might touch the back of your knee, you might take a smaller squat. Then we're going to keep this left leg off the ground, try and roll ourselves up on that right leg. Lift the left knee up, stretch the arms up, big stretch. Hands into prayer at the chest, tilt ourselves forward, find a true warrior. So we're balanced on our right leg, our chest is moving forward, we're nice and long through our spines. Bring the hands down, step the left leg back, right leg back into your down dog. Take a few moments doing whatever you wish in your down dog to release before we do the other side. So our left leg is going to go up toward the ceiling, big stretch. Left thigh to belly and chest. We round forward into our plank type position. We push and hold. Stretch that leg back up toward the ceiling one more time. Leg toward belly and chest. We round like a cat, we suck that leg in, and then we kick that left foot forward. Our left hand will look toward the ceiling for our twist. Open ourselves up. Big, big stretch. Now pivot onto the outer edge of your back foot as you drop your hip and reach your hand back. Now as we come up, we pivot the other way. So we bend the left leg, we lift into our Skandasana or our Cossack. You might notice your heel lift, that's fine, or it can stay down. So we come back towards our horizon lunge, our hip drops. We come back into our Skandasana. Final time, back to your horizon lunge, back to your Cossack or your Skandasana. And then, once we come back to our lunge, just make sure you've got enough room to reach your hands forward, lift your back leg so you're in that supported warrior. Stretching out through your body and your leg. Then, we bend the left leg. The right knee taps somewhere on the back of the left leg, like a little shrimp squat. Stretch it back to your supported warrior. We bend, maybe go a little lower, taking it back up. One more time, bending, as low as you can, take it back up. Now start to bend a little through your left leg, start to roll yourself up, your right knee is going to lift up, your arms are going to lift up, big stretch up, hands in prayer at your heart, hinge it forward, chest moves forward, leg extends back, we find that balance. Pause for a few moments, hands down, right foot down, left foot joins, back into your down dog. Start to walk your feet forward, your hands back, meet in the middle, rolling yourself up toward the center, roll your shoulders back. Take your right arm up, left arm down by your side, take a side bend. Have a little squeeze of your glute to keep you stable. Bend your knees, sweep your right arm out in a semicircle down toward the floor. Both arms dangle, you roll up in the center. Left arm up, right arm down by the side, take that side bend. Releasing it, sweeping it down toward the floor. Rolling yourself up into the center. Then we're going to roll all the way back down. So roll your shoulders forward. Try and flex through your spine as much as you can. So it's like you're sucking your chest in, you're sucking your ribs in, you're sucking your belly in. Let your arms dangle. Start to round through your lower back, tuck that tailbone under. Slowly roll all the way down down toward the floor. Bend your knees as you need to. Stretch your arms forward. Come back down onto all fours. Take your knees further back so you're in like a little bit of an extended forward fold. Tuck your tailbone under, so a 3/4 plank, and then slowly lower yourself all the way down toward the floor. Take the arms down by your side. Turn the palms out to the side so you're externally rotating your arms. Squeeze your bum, press down into your pubic bone. Lift your arms, lift your legs. Come into this version of your Shalabhasana. And then lowering yourself down, bring your head to the floor, stretch your arms out to the side into a T-shaped position. So your thumbs are up toward the ceiling in line with your shoulders. And then keeping your tailbone tucked, press down into your pubic bone, lift your hands as high as you can. So those thumbs are going up toward the ceiling, and do some little pulses. So as you lift those thumbs up, you should feel your shoulder blades squeezing together a little. And then release your hands down. Take your arms to a Y position. Same thing, tuck under, press into your pubic bone, lift those thumbs in that Y position as hard as you can, high as you can, and find your little pulses. Relaxing down. Take your arms overhead so you're like an I position. So hand above your right shoulder, hand above your left shoulder. Forehead down, tailbone tucked. Lift your hands as high as you can, the head stays down, you lift and pulse. Feeling those shoulders working. And release it down. Stretch your right arm out to the side in line with your shoulder. Left hand is on the floor for support. We're going to roll onto our right side, reaching into those right fingers. So you're feeling like you're stretching out through the arm, all the way over to your right side as far as you can. And then if it feels comfortable, you might want to bend up your top leg, put it behind you, the foot, so it acts as a bit of support. And you're just looking for a stretch in your right shoulder, maybe into your right pec, maybe even down through your right arm. Head relaxing so you're not using your neck muscles. Couple more breaths. And then releasing yourself onto your belly once more. Let's do the other side. So you're going to take your left arm out in line with your shoulder. So use your right hand on the floor to gently push yourself onto your left hand side. Head is relaxed, you're reaching your left fingers away, so you're finding that stretch through that arm, through that shoulder. You may or may not want to bend up your top foot. So if you're a little bit tighter, you might just want to stack your legs. So just see what feels good in your body. Easing into that stretch. Taking a couple of breaths, soften, release. And then releasing yourself onto your belly once more. Let's do one more Shalabhasana. So we tuck our tailbone under, we squeeze and push down. Our arms turn out, our palms turn out, so we're externally rotating. We're lifting our legs, we're lifting our chest, our arms as much as we can. And then releasing it down. Now bring your forearms down onto the floor. Bring yourself up into a Sphinx. So with our Sphinx, we're just pressing down into our pubic bone again, we're lifting our chest and using our shoulder blades. Now we're going to do this little roll up from here. So it can feel a little bit strange at first. From this position, we're going to tuck our toes, keep our knees on the ground, and then we're going to round like a cat. So we draw our bellies towards our spine, we round through our shoulder blades, and we're just finding that action through our abdominals. You should feel your belly muscles working. And then from there, just start to lift your knees off the ground so you find yourself in a forearm plank. Pausing, feeling that protraction through your shoulder blades, that action through your abdominals. And then from here, maybe turn this into a side plank. So right forearm stays down, we twist and take the left hand up toward the ceiling, and instead of collapsing through our hips, feel like we're pressing our hips up toward the ceiling. And then the left forearm goes down, we tip onto the left arm, the outer edge of the left foot, right arm goes up. And again, instead of collapsing, we're pushing ourselves away from the ground. And then bring your arms back down into your forearm plank. Drop your knees down. Let's try and change this into a dolphin. So for your dolphin, it's up to you what you do with your hands. I personally like to interlace my hands. You can keep them flat. Just like your down dog, we lift the hips high, we send our tailbone up, and we're pushing our chest towards our legs. From here, you can stay here, or you could raise your right leg up toward the ceiling. And then swap And raise your left leg up toward the ceiling. And then releasing it down back into your dolphin. Drop down to your knees. Take a child's pose. Now bring yourself up into a split kneel. So we're on our left knee, our right foot's forward. And with your arms out in front, we're just going to sweep that right arm back into a twist. Like we've done before, stretching into all 10 fingers, opening up through your chest. Allow that arm to release back for a second. Let's go for one more. So big circle, turning your chest as deeply as you can. Now we're going to lean forward and hook this left elbow over the leg. Get a good hook. Hands come into prayer. Press the arm against the leg and use that bit of push to find the twist through your chest. Hopefully feels a nice good twist through your spine. Pause for a couple of moments. Soft breathing. And then lifting yourself back up. Tuck your back toes if it feels okay. I'd like you to scoop your pelvis under. So we're tucking, we're squeezing our left glute, pushing that left hip forward. Just starting to feel a little bit of stretch in your hip flexor. Take the arms up at the same time, big stretch. If anything, lean back a little bit. Push that left hip even further. Now, take the arms out to side for a little bit of balance. Untuck your toes. Lean back slightly and see if you can lift this foot off the ground. So we're finding a little bit of balance. And then you're going to bring this right leg back to join your left. Tuck your tailbone under again. We're going to go for a little camel lean back. So make sure you stay tucked. Lean the body weight back as far as you feel you can. Drive through the shins to come back up, okay? So you're just going to find your point. So you're leaning back, keeping that tailbone tucked, maybe reach the hands forward, drive yourself back up. Let's go one more. So take it back, pause, stay there a little bit longer, drive yourself back up. Well done. Hands to the floor, stretch your left leg out behind you, and then take your right hand up towards the ceiling for a rotation. So you're pressing into your back heel, you're stretching up into those fingers. Then bring that hand down, lean back slightly so your hips are moving further back, your arms can go out to the side, and see if again you can lift your back foot and find a little balance. And then swing your left foot forward, back to the start position on the other side. Arms forward, left hand goes back into your twist. Stretch into all 10 fingers. Release the hand to the front. One more like that, big stretch. Stretch into all 10 fingers. And then we're going to lean forward, hook the right elbow over the left leg. Have a couple of attempts, join your hands into prayer. Press arm against your leg, rotate your body to the left. Pause and breathe into it. And then as you release, come back up, tuck your back toes so you've got a little bit more push. Tailbone scoops under. Squeeze your right glute, push that right hip forward. Arms up for a big stretch. Scoop and push. Lean back a little bit to find a deeper stretch in your hip flexor. Then, arms to the side for balance. Unhook your back foot. Lean back slightly. See if you can find that balance. And then let that left leg join your right. Tuck the tailbone under. Camel lean back. Bring yourself up. If you get any pain in your actual knee when you do this, ease off. We're wanting to feel a good strong stretch through the quads and some action, but no knee pain. And then bring your hands to the floor. Stretch your right foot behind you. Left hand up to the ceiling for that revolve twist. Press away into your back heel, reach up, open yourself up. Then, hand down. Lean back slightly, try and raise your back foot off the ground. Arms can go out to the side for support. See if you can find that balance. And then you can bring that right foot forward, back into your split kneel. Now straighten out this right leg, bring your hands down toward the floor, and we're just looking for a hamstring stretch. So if your hamstrings are tight, you may either have to have a little bend in your leg, or you might have to bring yourself something for a height, so you can get into whatever best stretch you can of your hamstring. So we're just looking for that bit of a stretch, don't go too crazy. And then we're going to put the foot on the floor and we're going to move forward into a lunge. Just start to walk your hands back, start to straighten that right leg to find a hamstring stretch. And we're going to rock between these two. So as you come back into your lunge this time, just bring your arms up into a cactus. Open up through your chest and squeeze your shoulders together as you push that left hip forward. And then as you come into your hamstring stretch, take those hands behind, fold forwards as much as you feel you can, just looking for that stretch on your right leg. Come into your cactus, open yourself up, find that squeeze of your shoulder blades, taking it back into that hamstring stretch. As you come forward this time, bring your hands back down toward the floor, lift your back knee off the floor, take yourself into that little runner's tight twist. Just wiggle your right foot a little out to the right, so you've got a bit more space between the hand and the foot. With this right arm, we're going to drop down, we're going to try and get this arm as close to the floor as possible. So we're just bending and releasing down, sinking a little bit through our body. And then we're going to open ourselves up into that twist again. Once more, releasing it down, find that sinking type action if possible. And then we're going to release it back up. As you come down this time, some of you might want to stay hands on the floor. Some of you might be able to come down to your left forearm. Some of you might be able to bring your right forearm down too, into a lizard type pose. So just go to wherever you can, and then drop your back knee, come back to your hands if you're not there already. Left hand to the left side of the mat. Circle your right arm back, so you're turning your chest, opening yourself up. Now we're trying to keep our hips low, and we're going to actively bring this heel toward our bum, so we feel our hamstring working. And then we release it back out. And again, we try and bring that heel towards our bum, so we're actively using this hamstring and releasing it. And then on this final one, bring it in as tightly as you can towards your bum. So you might be able to reach back and take hold of your foot. And if so, kick the foot into the hand and open through your shoulder and roll open and create some space in your body. And then release, hands down, let's swap legs. So, onto your right knee, left leg comes forward. Find your low lunge, and then just transition, left leg straightens, hips rock back so you feel a hamstring stretch. As you come back to your lunge this time, cactus your arms, open up through your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades, really open up. And then arms go back, left leg straightens, you bow yourself forward. Open up into your lunge and your cactus, squeeze in, lifting your heart space, taking it back into that hamstring stretch. This time as you come forward, take the hand or right hand toward the floor. Lift your back leg, left hand goes up toward the ceiling for a twist. Wiggle your left foot a little wider so there's some space that when you bring that left arm down, you can sink your body a little closer to the floor. So we relax and then we open ourselves up into a twist. Big stretch out through the fingers through your back heel and then release it down. One more time, big stretch up. And as you come down this time, you might just stay relaxed on your hands. Right forearm might come to the ground, left forearm might come to the ground. Go wherever you feel you can, and then drop your back knee down. Lift back to your hands if you're not there already. Right hand wide. Circle that left hand around behind you. Turn your chest to the left. Let your right hip drop. In that drop position, can you just squeeze your heel toward your bum and then release it? Squeeze it in again. Use your hamstring and release it. One more time. Could you squeeze it in? Could you maybe reach your foot? If you reach your foot, kick the foot into your hand. Roll your left shoulder back. Create a bit more space in your body. And then release your hand. Release your leg. Let your left leg go back. Find a child's pose. Release it down. Have a nice relaxed one. Let your breath settle for a few moments. Now just pushing yourself up. Come to sit. Legs out in front. Hold the back of your knees. And I just want you to start walking your feet back, leaning back until you get to that point where you can find your balance and your feet just float up. And then from here, we're going to try and round through our spines and slowly roll ourselves down to the ground into a low boat. So our heads and our shoulders are still lifted. And you can even choose to keep your legs bent, one leg straight, both legs straight. And then we're going to try and roll ourselves back into our high boat. So it's, we round through our spine, we draw our bellies in, we slowly with control roll ourselves down into whichever variation of low boat we want to do. And then we try and peel ourselves back into our boat. Let's try one more. So draw the belly in, find that tuck under of your tailbone so you can lower with control, and then bringing yourself back into your boat. Feet down. Let's just take our legs wide. I'm just going to turn this direction. So then take ourselves into Upper Vishnasana, our wide forward fold position, although we're going to stay upright for a few moments. And in this position, we want to have our pelvis like a cow, so it's tilting forward like we're sticking our bum out. We don't want to be in that tucked position. And if we're tight in our hamstrings and our lower back, we'll automatically sink into this. So if that is you, make an effort to find that tilt, or possibly sit on something, a book, a blanket, just to help tilt you forward, okay? Then from here, let's raise our arms up toward the ceiling, big stretch up, and see where you can fold forward to. So instead of rounding, think about lifting your chest, reaching your hands forward, and then just bringing your hands down wherever they reach, okay? And have a little wiggle. Sometimes just wiggling through your hips might allow a bit more movement. If you can fold down, you can fold all the way down. If you want to stay high, you can stay high. Pause in whichever position works for you. And then wherever your hands are, just start to walk them around towards your right foot. So we're going to take that little bit of a twist. You might want to hold on to your ankle or your leg with your left hand. Find a little rotation. And then start to walk your hands back the other direction. Again, you might want to hold onto your leg with your right hand this time and just gently ease yourself into that twist. Bringing yourself back towards the centre point and that upright point, this time, turn your body toward the left. So we're doing a little rotation to the left. We're going to side bend and try and bring our right hand toward our right foot. It doesn't have to reach, you're just trying to side bend and see where you can go. If you can catch hold, but you don't have to. And see how much you can rotate your body to the left. So we're side bending right, we're rotating left. Have that little mantra in your head. So we bend to the right, we turn left. We bend to the right, we turn left. And you might be able to see that I've got my elbow bent and I'm pressing it on the inside of my shin. If you're able to get there, that can give you a bit of leverage. Taking your left arm up toward the ceiling and taking that hand further back, open yourself up. You might want to stay here, or this left arm can come over by your ear in a side bend and maybe it starts to reach toward the foot. Pause for a couple of breaths. And with your inhale, try and bring yourself out of the pose. So the same on the other side. Turn the chest to the right. Side bend to the left. Turn, bend, and then reach that hand and maybe catch your foot. You don't have to. Maybe you turn a bit more, you bend a bit more and you get this elbow on the inside of your leg. It just help to give you a bit of a push, but again, it doesn't matter. Right arm goes up, take that hand as far back as you can so you're opening up through your chest. And then if you wish, this arm can come over by your ear, it can come into that side bend, it might even reach toward your foot. Couple of breaths, surrender into that pose if you can. And then with your next inhale, bringing yourself back up towards the centre. Bring your legs together, draw your right leg in toward your chest. Let's just take a simple twist. Left hand holds, right hand goes behind. Sometimes those strong side bends can cause a little bit of tightness through the spine, you know, they're quite strong. So just release it out through your lower back. Switching legs, taking that twist the other way. And then releasing your legs, I'm just going to turn myself around. Let's try and do a little roll down toward the floor and up. Okay, so again, we're trying to find that flexion through our spine. So, legs out straight if possible. You're going to reach your arms forward. And then as you slowly roll down, your reaching is going to help slow you down. Draw your belly in, find that cat-like action. Slowly roll yourself all the way down toward the ground. Maybe take your arms overhead, take a big stretch out. Stretch into your toes, stretch into your fingers. And see if we could roll ourselves up. So taking your arms out front is helpful because you can reach, find that rounding through your shoulders, rounding through your upper back, draw your belly in and try and peel yourself off the ground. So they are difficult, you might have to have a little bit of momentum to come up. We'll try that one more time. So round, draw your belly in, Keep that control as you lower yourself down. And then this time when you come down towards the floor, just bend up your knees, just shuffle until you feel comfortable. I'm going to lift up into a bridge, but I'd like you to take your arms up toward the ceiling. Tuck your tailbone under, so instead of having our natural lumbar curve, we're going to draw our belly in, push down through our lower back. Allow our pelvis to tuck under, and then start to peel our bum off the ground, our lower back, our mid back, our upper back. So we come onto our shoulders. Maybe take those arms overhead, press down into the back of your hands, squeeze your bum and try and get those hips even higher. And then we're going to roll down from the top. So take your arms up, protract through your shoulders. So you're drawing your chest in, you're drawing your ribs in. So we're trying to roll from the top all the way down, drawing our bellies in strongly toward the floor, and then rolling our tailbone down toward the ground. For this next one, holding onto the mat, pull on the mat as you scoop and peel your spine off the ground. Once you get to the top, try and tuck your shoulders underneath a little bit. So you're coming more onto your upper outer arms. Push with the feet, squeeze your bum, pull on that mat, get your chest and your hips to lift as high as possible. If you are able to, interlace your hands underneath, tuck under even more, press into those arms, lift your hips, and then release the arms. Try and get the upper back to hit the ground first, then the mid back, rolling, rounding through the spine. And then once you've hit the ground, neutral normal pelvis, stretch one leg out, stretch the other leg out. Take one arm slightly to the side, the other arm slightly to the side. Press into your head, lift your shoulders for a moment, draw your shoulders away from your ears, and then let your body relax. Let your feet fall into whatever position they fall into. Allow your legs to feel heavy. Notice that grounding, heavy sensation of your pelvis. Your normal curve through your spine. Shoulder blades heavy into the ground. The shoulders released away from your ears, so there's space around your neck. Just feel that release from your shoulders all the way down towards your fingertips. Backs of the hands heavy. Back of the head heavy. Just gently scan through your face and see that there's no tension in your forehead. Your cheeks are soft. Your jaw is loose. And just allow your breath to be soft and steady. And with each exhalation that you take, could you allow yourself to drop a little deeper into that release, into that relaxation? So nothing to do, just to be in this moment, your body relaxing, absorbing your efforts. Try and give your mind that gift of quietness. So if your mind becomes distracted by a thought, a sound, a sensation in your body, just start to bring it back towards your breath, connecting to that soft inhale, that soft exhale, that gentle rhythm of your breath, just like the waves of the sea flowing in and out. Feel your belly, your chest moving with your breath, that freedom. Now, if you have time to stay a little longer in Shavasana, then I absolutely invite you to stay there. If you feel you need to move, just start to slowly move through your fingers, through your toes. If you feel you need to take a stretch in any other way, stretching out through your arms or your legs, go for it. And then start by bending up your knees, your feet up heavy, pressed into the ground. gently rolling it over to your right hand side. You may want to just pause here for a moment or two. And then just gently pushing yourself up into any kind of seated position. Just feeling that connection with your sit bones against whatever you're sat on, probably the mat. Feeling that lift up through your spine. Just bringing your hands into prayer pose at your heart center. Rolling your shoulders back, creating some space. And just take a moment to check in with your body, with your breath, with how you feel mentally and emotionally. Let's end by taking a nice deep inhale together. And releasing exhale as you bow your chin towards your chest and give yourselves some thanks for taking time out for your body, for your mind. Thank you very much for flowing with me today. Namaste.